Thank you. We are joined by Indiana State head coach Mitch Hannes, student athletes Randall Diaz, Grant McGill, and Mike Sears. Coach, if you would, opening statement, please.
Sure. In regard to the game, I thought we really had a tough time taking the crowd out of it. I thought they got those early runs, and we were chasing three. I thought we had a couple opportunities, obviously, to dig into that. We didn't get it done. Give Kentucky credit. I thought made some nice plays in some of those situations. I thought Moore really made some good pitches, some quality pitches in a couple of those jams that he kind of got himself into, but he made a really good series of pitches on, I know, Diaz, and then the diving play by the shortstop in left center, and then a good series against Hernandez. So in regards to the game, they beat us. They played well. They got a nice club. They play all phases of the game. In regard to the season, really proud of my guys. I thought they battled from the time they stepped on campus in August and until now, and it's been an absolutely great group to coach. They've allowed us to coach them hard, and what I mean by that is we've just been honest with them, and they take constructive criticism, and they've been a pleasure. They've done a lot for our program, and it's going to be really tough to see this group leave us.
Okay, questions for the student athletes. Identify yourself and your outlet before asking, please.
Todd Golden with the Tribune Star in Terre Haute. Mike, just to illustrate the frustration, I mean, there were opportunities to break through, but obviously you guys weren't able to do it. What was the level of frustration about that through the game?
Throughout the game, obviously you could kind of see the frustration. Everything that we hit hard was kind of right at them. And like Coach said, the shortstop, he made an amazing play out in left center field. That could have been a hit. Next thing you know, bases are loaded. And those kind of plays are the ones that can make or break a game. And it's frustrating when that happens, and then you get a strikeout, and then the crowd goes crazy. And the momentum, we could just never seem to get it on our side, and that was definitely frustrating.
Randall, you heard the words that Coach Hanna said about the season. It's earlier than you wanted to end it, but how do you, and it's hard to put it into perspective this soon after it ended, but how do you kind of put it into perspective and demonstrate some, the pride in what you guys did?
Yeah, so I'm really proud of my teammates. Right now I'm not even thinking that we just lost. I'm just thinking about my family on the dugout. It's really hard for me to just see them leave and all that. I've been learning a lot with my teammates. Just that's what I can say. I'm just thinking about my family right here.
In the back.
Grant Pugh, WWO Grant, it's kind of the same sentiment. It hurts now, but it hurts because what you guys, this run you've been on for 2 years has been so good, right?
Just the kind of relationships that you get to make on teams that make regionals and like a super last year. You get so close with these guys, and now obviously it's kind of the end. So that end of the game emotion it's different. It's a whole lot different than say last year, knowing that we're going to have a chance to come back. But it's not the emotion isn't because we lost. It's because it's those relationships, the ability to play on this stage. We don't have it anymore, and I'm just so grateful that I was able to make those relationships, and I was able to grow as a player under Coach Hanna's and all the other coaches. They've built me from the ground up, and I'm so grateful for everything that they've done for me.
Good.
Just should probably give Mike a chance to speak on this as well. You've been with this program for a long time. What are your words on that same topic?
I agree with both of these guys. It's all, you spend so much time with these guys, more than our own families, and they become our family. Being here for 4 years and seeing the program change since we got there, and we always talk about making the program better than when we got there, and I think that this group has raised that bar to a place that not even we thought that we could do. And after the game, I bust out into tears just because you get so close to all your best friends, and it comes to an end, and there's nothing we can do about it. obviously we wanted to win today and go tomorrow. And the taste of the Super Regional we got last year, we were hungrier this year than we had ever been. And to fall short of that was a little disappointing. But I mean, these guys are all my best friends, so we'll enjoy the rest of the time that we have together on the bus and back in hometown. So just grateful that I got to come here and grateful for all the relationship I've had.
Jeff Drummond, Kentucky Rival. For any of you guys that care to answer, you really made the starting pitcher work hard tonight. He threw a lot of pitches. What was he doing, though, to kind of get himself out of a few of the jams that you guys presented?
I thought that he was, I mean, in a way, kind of effectively wild. Like with some of the pitches he was throwing, at least to me, like he wasn't throwing all outside. They were doing a good job of, I don't know if they were trying to, but going in, going out, going in, going out. And he did a great job. He did. He really did. He didn't walk a lot of guys, which is always I mean, when you make teams get guys on, get them over, and get them in, it's a lot harder to score. And when you're not getting walks and the guys making really good pitches and pitchers counts, it's tough to hit.
Yeah, he's just moving that sinker in and out. You know, it'll make he peppers your hands one at bat. He can throw that on the outside, and it looks like it's further away because you're all sped up. He was doing a good job of just mixing that in and out, like Mike said.
Any further questions for the student athletes? All right, guys, you're free to go. Thank you. All right, questions for Coach?
Mitch, you mentioned it, I mean, the crowd got into this game early, and, you know, you guys kind of demonstrated the value of playing at home last year when you
Sure.
played in the regional. Those types of plays that, for example, the play that Grant Smith made, the shortstop, those are not easy to make, but you're more confident on the field to make them when things are rolling. I mean, how much, you know, how difficult is it to fight that when you're in the dugout as a player?
Well, first of all, I think obviously working hard and earning the right to host is a big deal in college baseball. Just because of that. I mean, just because you're playing in front of your crowd, you obviously can control the noise somewhat because it's all for you. And when you can't get on top of it as the opponent, it's really frustrating because it's like a ball that keeps rolling at you and it never stops. I mean, you're hoping to break through and get a big knock at a crucial time just to quiet it down for a moment. But obviously, when you get shut out or you're chasing three right off the bat, and you can't really get a lot going, and you let those 2 innings that we had. And I talked about it today in postseason play. Your opportunities they're limited, and when you get them, you got to take advantage of them. And I knew when we kind of let those slide by that it was going to really be tough to silence the crowd and hold Kentucky at bay.
Go ahead.
Pitching wise, I mean, Cole struggled a little bit.
Sure.
But, you know, I've seen worse. I mean,
Right.
in these types of games, how did you feel just generally about the three guys you threw?
I thought in Cole's case, I think we were hoping to shorten the game a little bit, hoping to get him one time through the order, and hopefully get him through there with minimal damage. But I think we got through 8 hitters with him, and we just had to make the move. And I thought, you know, Pruitt was sped up a little bit early, but he settled in, and I think that was you know, we got past that 5th inning, and I think the thought in the dugout was, hey, we weathered the storm. You know, we're down 3, Pruitt's settling in. We're in decent shape here. I wouldn't call it great shape, down 3-0, but we felt like we were still in pretty good shape. And then in terms of Simon, I mean, he's Simon. He's going to spin it and turn it over, and you know, after Pruitt, he was very effective because Pruitt obviously speeds you up with that quick arm, and then Simon slows you down. So I like what we had in terms of a plan to get through today. We just didn't do enough offensively.
Jeff?
You mentioned the 3-0 lead, and it felt like you were on the verge of getting back in that at any
Yeah.
moment. when it goes to 5-0 on the opposite field home run, can you talk about just how,
Sure.
what a difference those two situations feel like?
Yeah, I think we have to do our interviews. I think it was the fifth inning, and we were talking on air there. 3 felt like about 6. You know, it almost felt like we were down 6-0. So then when you're down 3 and it feels like 5 or 6, and we got a 2-2 pitch to Petrie that we wanted in, that we ran back on the plate. You know, they go up 5-0, and you're sitting there thinking, man, we've let a lot of opportunities pass us. And trying to put enough together to get 5 in the 7th, 8th, 9th was going to be really tough.
Mitch, it's earlier than you wanted to put a bow on the season, which I know is disappointing for everybody, but, and I know you already put it in perspective a little bit, but, you know, how do you kind of put it in the perspective of, it was a 44-win season, you were nationally ranked, your RPI was in the top 10. Those things don't happen in Indiana State every year. They've been more regular lately, but, you know, even though this moment is painful, is it easy to think back on the pride that those accomplishments were?
It is. I think there's, you know, when you sit in that game and you get to the 9th and you have a chance to kind of reflect because you're thinking, man, this is going to be tough sledding to score 5 or 6 in the 9th. You can't help but point your mind to I thought this group did enough to host a regional. I thought they did more than enough to host a regional. And, you know, you're sitting there and you're a little frustrated that not only do you not host, you come to the number 2 seed, which we knew was going to be extremely tough when we saw the draw. So I think there was getting past that frustration to this point now, and I think that frustration will lay there a little while because, you know, it is what it is. But I think you still look to the way these guys have competed and what they've done. And, you know, we lost a lot of Friday night games through the season when Pruitt, obviously Pruitt went down at Southern Miss and missed about 7 weekends, 6, 7 weekends of starts. And so we kind of hodgepodged Friday night without moving our Saturday, Sunday guys. And for them to battle through that and win all those series when there were probably 3 or 4 of them when we dropped a Friday night, just says a lot to the resiliency of this group. And I think as you look back and look at what these guys have done and what they've been one of the most resilient groups that I've been around. Nothing seems to faze them. So I think that's been the special part of this last couple of seasons.
Jonathan Burnham, Kentucky Colonel. What do you feel like Mason did from your perspective? I know we heard from the players, but what do you feel like Mason did that made them successful today against your hitters?
Sure. I think there's, obviously you guys watch a lot of SEC baseball. I don't get to see as much SEC baseball, but I think there's a way you have to pitch in the SEC to survive. And you see that in a 3-1 breaking ball. You see that in a 2-0 breaking ball. I think what he did extremely well is he didn't center cut a fastball when he was behind in the count. He was still pitching. And I think that was the big thing. I think the hitters that they face on a daily basis in the SEC requires them to be able to pitch behind in the count. And I thought that's what he did really well. And I think the other thing, you know, we talked about our resiliency. I thought his resiliency and his poise was excellent on the mound.
Any further for Coach? Thank you, Coach.